Hi, everybody. This is Kobe R. Rice again. So, every single time I come on here to try to make a new vlog or a video post or whatever, everything just goes terribly wrong. And I end up having to set up the hardware again, the software again, like just getting all these interruptions, internet's on the fritz. It's just, I don't know. It's like the universe just does not want me to communicate with you guys. Anyway, so screw that, screw the universe. I'm here. And wow, I posted a vlog about a little over a week ago, intending that every day I would keep up with like little mini creative posts and let you guys know what I'm doing every day to push forward my creative projects. Just a running journal because I really like doing those kinds of things. And on top of it, I really hope to try to be a source of inspiration or encouragement for people who are afraid to go out there and start being creative and making their projects come to life. And just to show you that big things can happen, but sometimes you have to push them forward a little bit at a time. So that's my entire intention of being here, except things in my life are so crazy that it's hard to get on here and actually do a daily update. So I'll do whatever I can. I'll do the best that I can to like stay on top of it. Every time I try to start a new series of something, life magically and mysteriously explodes right then and there. So then I end up having to take time away. But now graduate school is over. Woo! Yay! Oop, I think I hit the mic here for a second. Sorry about that. At least the first semester of it. And it was certainly an experience. It was definitely a journey. As you guys may know, I'm going for my third degree in not in theater arts, but like my third degree overall. I'm pursuing that. I have a BA in an MS in sociology, and now I'm going for my MFA in generative dramaturgy, which yes is in the theater arts, but my education is kind of all over the place, which is kind of cool and kind of quirky and kind of fun. But yes, this is my second time round with graduate school. And this is a 3-year program. So I have about 5 semesters to knock down. And it's definitely been intense. And it's weird that it's been intense because, you know, you would think that going to graduate school for the second time would make things a little easier. And it has in a lot of ways. It's just this time I have a lot more going on, I think. You know, I'm trying to push forward my career as an author, trying to build up my fempire, getting into filmmaking. I'll get into that in just a second. Filmmaking, game making, and like really getting into like the thick of what it is I want to do pretty much for the rest of my life. And just that. And then I'm also a mom now. When I was in graduate school before, it was just me. So I had a lot of time to myself. Now, not so much. Now I have to, you know, work in some time to my schedule, meaning that I get up sometimes at 1 or 3 in the morning to like get writing done or some creative stuff done. And I'll work for a couple of hours, 2 to 3 hours, and then I'll go back to bed. And then I'll wake up again around maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, get the baby up, get her ready, feed her, take her to daycare, and then I start my day as a graduate student. And, you know, for any of you guys who have been to graduate school, you have a full load of classes. And plus, I was also a graduate teaching assistant this semester. And not only was I a teaching assistant, but I was TAing for 2 separate classes, which was like absolutely insane, but also like an interesting challenge. And I made it. I don't even know how I got anything else done this semester. I don't even know how I survived this semester, but I made it. And it was definitely, like I said, an education. So the MFA in dramaturgy, and I'll get into that in a whole nother vlog, because explaining dramaturgy in the context of theater and in the context of like film and TV and games and just creativity as a whole is like a conversation that is still developing across the industry. And so that will take forever. So yes, making progress towards that. This semester was surprisingly academic. And so that's sort of like the trappings of being a first year in any program. They have like a core set of requirements and things that you have to do. in order for you to get the foundation, both professionally and educationally, that you need to take your degree and actually like make something of yourself, whatever that's going to be. So yet and still, it's an MFA program. So I am currently now with every single class, even if it's a core class, looking for different ways to make the classes more of like a portfolio building exercise as opposed to like an academic exercise. Because I'm pretty much done with academia, like done. I am not doing academia. And when I say academia, I mean like scholarly work. I mean, I have to a certain degree, read and write and analyze and be critical. But I did that like, God, literally for like almost 10 years. And now I'm ready to move on. So yeah, so basically like the classes I had this semester were like helping to build our portfolio in terms of learning what it means to be a stage manager. So I have a portfolio for that, which is great. I actually designed and put together a company prospectus for an actual theater company, which is amazing. And I've been sort of batting around personally whether or not I want to make a theater company a part of the larger Rebel Ragdoll Fempire that I would like to build. And I haven't decided yet, but it was still a wonderful exercise to really think through the process of putting together a theater company, naming it, building a season for it, creating the missions, values, goals, vision, statement, all those things. Thinking about what a board would look like, putting together a budget, figuring out across the industry generally how much theaters are making and how much of their budget has to go to each department. I mean, like this class just blew me away with the level of practical information and education that I got, in addition to me actually building the theater company conceptually and putting together portfolios, which was amazing. So even if I never open up, if I do open up a company, it would be called the Doll Theater, of course, in conjunction with the Rebel Ragdoll brand. Doll Theater would be like the theater arm of it. And we'd be focused on science fiction, fantasy, thriller, those sort of small niche genres that you don't really see so much in on the stage nowadays. But I'm getting exposure to a lot of work that is really pushing and testing the boundaries of the stage in terms of genre. And next semester, when I take the advanced playwriting class, I myself am going to be adapting a very sci-fi concept to the stage, which is going to be really exciting. And it's going to be like a sci-fi thriller, but also like a psychological thriller. So, on the stage, you can't really have explosions or anything like too high concept, but you can really do a lot in terms of the emotional and psychological depth of your work. And so I'm looking to develop that part. That's going to actually force me to become a better writer on a character level as opposed to on a plot and high concept level. So I'm looking forward to being developed and developing my skills in that area. Also this semester, I had a theory class and I had a research methods class. And the assignments in that class, when I really sat back and thought about how I'm going to use every class to advance my skills and advance the practicality of the degree, these classes actually ended up really helping me to build the theoretical framework that I might need for grant applications. Because in the arts, you do a lot of grant writing, you do a lot of justification as to the social impact of your projects as an artist, as an organization. Sometimes they do ask you to pull in what scholars have said about what it is you're trying to do, and they want you to think through the implications and the impacts of your work. And so there's a project that I'm actually trying to put together, and I'll tell you guys about that in a second, that has really forced me to think about my positionality as an ally to disenfranchised communities, as an artist, as a filmmaker, novel writer, screenwriter, theater maker, and looking how the arts really intersects with disenfranchised communities and how they make art. And at first, when I was taking these classes, I was learning a lot, absolutely, but I wasn't sure as to how the academic component was going to play into my larger artistic endeavors and goals. And at the end, for my final paper, I had like almost 12 pages of like synthesized research and case studies and stuff like that I can now use and repurpose for grant applications, which is amazing. So it just goes to show a little perspective goes a long way. And even if like you have to take those core classes that you might not necessarily be so just gung-ho about because you want to like make pretty things, you can use whatever you're learning in those classes to apply that and apply that knowledge to something that is going to push forward your career. So I pretty much ended the semester with a rough draft. I mean, a really rough draft, but it's still a rough draft that I busted my ass on, of a grant proposal, which is amazing. Like, I mean, do you know how long it takes to write a grant proposal? And now all I have to do is keep streamlining it, add in more research as necessary or take some out. I just need to repurpose it for whatever I need to apply for as an artist and as an organization. And that's really exciting. So, and then the final class I was doing was an amazing class. It was teaching us literally how to become active dramaturgs in active collaboration. So we did a collective dramaturgical project called After Orlando that allowed us to take over 70 short plays between 1 minute and 5 minutes long, and figure out how to essentially put together a show. And it was a reading. I think we did a great job organizing and curating and really figuring out what the shape of the material looks like and what the implications of that shape were. And it wasn't a perfect process at all. It wasn't an easy process. It wasn't a process without its consequences, but it was definitely an educational and very, I would say, like, formative project. It was one of the more formative experiences of my creative career thus far. And it taught me essentially how to, like, not only look at something from a dramaturgical perspective and build those skills, but it also basically taught me how to operate and work in like a writer's room. Now, we weren't writers, but we were definitely all dramaturgs trying to figure out how to break the story, essentially. What is the story of the reading and of the production that we are trying to show? What's the goal? What's the emotional core of it? What is the push? Like, what does the shape of it look like? Is it going to be shaped in a 3-act kind of structure where there's a clear beginning, middle, or end? Or do we want disparate diversity in like how people are experiencing it? I mean, we broke that down so many different ways. We separated plays by like point of view, like whether it was a monologue, a dialogue, or a chorus. We separated plays by the theme. We separated, I don't want to say separated, let's say categorized. We categorized by theme. We categorized by point of view. We characterized by like how vibrant and cultural the play was, and how much it spoke to the Latin LGBTQIA plus experience. I should say actually the Latinx or the Latinx, because that's the proper way to refer to that ethnic group now, because we're taking into consideration not just race and culture and ethnicity, but also gender identification, and we want to respect people's gender identifications. So the way that we really just worked together every single week was really fantastic. And again, it wasn't an imperfect process, like we had to really figure out where our focus was. We had to challenge each other to listen to one another as opposed to speaking all the time. We had to challenge each other to take the lead as opposed to just sort of quietly sitting in the background. So there was a constant negotiation of these identities and these experiences that really helped me to grow as an artist. And I think that we're doing something very revolutionary in dramaturgy right now at my program. And I think that ultimately that's definitely something to be proud of. Although, again, it wasn't an imperfect process, because, we've had lots of thoughts about alliance and how we can be better allies to these communities, whether or not we had the right to curate this show and put on the show. And these are all things that came up in conversation and in discussion, and that we had to really think about. And we haven't come up with any solid or perfect solutions, but I'm glad that it's a conversation that we are starting at our program. So, and that's something that, again, was very impactful for me this semester. And I hope to do more projects like this, not just for social theater actions where we're responding to social situations, but I also like to do things that are a little less heavy. Like I would love to curate a sci-fi or fantasy or a thriller season or a thriller production of like short plays. You know, I mean, I would love to do that as a dramaturgical project because that's what I like to do. So yeah, so this semester again was a challenge. It was full of laughter, but also full of like lots of tears. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And I did struggle to find time for my creativity, but I did find it. And so speaking of moving from that on to what I'm doing personally outside of graduate school, we actually just wrapped pre-production. Do people say that? Wrapping pre-production? Anyway, we just wrapped pre-production on a very short indie drama film that my colleague and I are working on called Home. She wrote the script, she's the director, I'm the producer. And so we did a lot of sort of brainstorming, and then we broke down the script, and then I continued the script breakdown process pretty much all the way to the end. So now the script is broken down, and the actual the movie is also scheduled. So we have a schedule, we have a script, we have an actor that we're looking at to do the part. We sort of know what we need to do in the post-production phase, and it's going to be like pretty much like a no budget shoot, but it's going to be something that is authentic and ours, and it's really great. Mostly it's the directors, but I'm really excited to be a producer on it. I'm also going to be editing the film, and we're actually both of us are going to be editing, and I'm going to do a producer's cut because I have a really interesting idea for like a plot twist at the end, which brings it more into my brand of things. And then she'll have her cut, which is really awesome. So we just wrapped pre-production on that. We're hoping to get the shoot done by the end of January. Right now, we're just like so burnt out from grad school. We're just like resting and like vegging out pretty much. But we're ready to pretty much rock and roll by January. What else is happening? I'm still working on the Iron Maiden. Thankfully, things are like in shape and, you know, moving forward, but moving forward slowly, unfortunately. The Iron Maiden is coming, as are, oh gosh, as are the next 4 novels in the Books of Ezekiel series. So we have the Iron Maiden, we have Blood and Ink, The House of Death, Chase the Devil, and The Last Descent. And I have covers for those, which I will be, actually, I've already put them up on my website and other places for pre-order. And so that's going to be the end of this year's push as well as next year's push. In addition to that, though, as a novelist, I'm working on another series, which I'm super excited about, called The Hitmen of Happily Ever After. And it's just going to be freaking amazing. It's basically a fairy tale retelling, fairy tale remix, combined with noir elements. So think of like fairy tale remix combined with like Sin City. I'm just so freaking excited about it. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just gonna like reveal the cover right now. Let me pull it up while I'm talking. But basically the first title is Rose and John Doe's, and that's how basically every single title in this series is going to go. It has like a little theme to it. Rose and John Doe's, Red and Dead. So Rose and John Doe's is about it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Red and Dead, Little Red Riding Hood. We have Snow and Blow. I know that sounds dirty, but it's not what you guys think. It's a Snow White remix retelling, like a noir telling of it. And that concept I'm actually really proud of. I already know like what the concept is, who the characters are, and what's going to happen. But I really like the way that I put it together. We have Glass and Ass. We have Myrrh and Cur. Glass and Ass is the Cinderella Cinderella retelling. Mur and Kerr is the Little Mermaid retelling. So there's a lot of and like this series could like literally go on forever, and it probably will. So if you like stuff like that, you know, kind of new ways of freshening up old tales, then this is exactly where you guys want to be. All right. So that's coming. Rose and John Doe's is going to be coming out around Valentine's Day because it's about roses, and that makes sense to me. But then also the Beauty and the Beast. I think Disney's releasing another Beauty and the Beast retelling or something like that, a live action version of it in March. So it's just smart marketing to have that out by then so that when the tide rises, my boat can rise with it, right? So I'm going to do a screen share with you guys. Let me do this so I'm not looking like a freaking zombie on screen while I'm looking for this. Hold on. I'm going to screen share so I can show you. Let's start it. Okay, you guys should be able to see this now and not see me. This is not what I want. Writing projects, novels, The Hitman of Happily Ever After, cover design, Rose and John Doe's. Here we go. Hold on, y'all. There we go. Here's the cover, everybody. Yay, cover reveal, Rose and John Doe's. Yes, I know it kind of looks a little weird with like her forehead, my name like right on her forehead, but we really had no idea where else to put it. So I think it's a gorgeous cover. And this is going to be the first book in the series, and I am super excited about it. And I also have a prequel attached to this. I'm going to stop screen sharing now. I also have a prequel attached to this that you can only get by signing up to my mailing list, which I very rarely mail, so you don't have to worry about getting spammed. But the prequel is about basically the godfather, or essentially the godmother of all of these hitmen that are being assembled in this fairy tale Sin City world. So this is sort of the origin story of like the Mother Goose figure, who is essentially bringing together like Noir Belle, Noir Little Mermaid, Noir Peter Pan, you know, Noir everyone to fight this impending evil that's going to be taking over New York City. Yes, and it's going to be in New York City because that's essentially where I'm from. And so Brooklyn is Brooklyn. You have like, instead of Long Island, you have Strong Island, which is cool. I don't know if I'm going to change that, but I might. In any case, the series is going to be so cool and amazing. So that's what I'm working on, those two series. There are also two trilogies that I'm conceptualizing and developing right now. The Forgotten trilogy, which is a part of my Transcendent Trilogies project. And I'm not going to pitch that now because that's a whole different sort of grassroots, I don't even know what to call it, a grassroots literary project that I'm working on. And so the Forgotten trilogy is going to be the debut trilogy in that project. And we'll talk about that later. But it's a great project, so just stay tuned on that. And I'm working on a trilogy called the Asylum trilogy, which I am so super amped about. I'm so amped about it, like I can't even really tell you what it is. I mean, I can, but it's just like, it's one of those properties that I feel are really hot and that I could like, if I wanted to, like I could like probably sell this, not like the actual series, but sell like the film rights or like, you know, option the TV rights or something to this, because I'm just like, ooh, this is sexy right here. Now, mind you, I'm not a working producer in a big sort of traditional studio, but I do know a good concept when I see it. So I'm working on that. And so those three series, Books of Ezekiel, Hitman of Happily Ever After, and the Asylum trilogy, I'm going to try to get at least like a couple books from each out next year. That's my plan. So that's my novel writing plan. In addition to filmmaking, that film that we just wrapped pre-production on, I am also going to beat out a short film script this winter because now I'm off and I have a little over a month off, which is amazing. And so I'm going to take a day and just beat out a sci-fi action kind of thriller, 10-minute. It's going to be mostly like chase scenes and fight scenes, but it's going to be awesome. And it's actually going to be based on the Books of Ezekiel series. So it's going to be really cool. And as soon as I get it written, I want to write it as well. I'm actually going to, give me a second. I'm going to turn this light on because I feel like it's getting dark. Okay. Okay. That's a lot better. Although it kind of made me look like, like I was a ghoul coming out of the closet or something. Oh gosh, so yeah, so much to update you guys on. So yeah, that's my script writing goal. I also am taking this amazing, incredible horror screenwriting class from Screenwriting U. And like this class is literally blowing my mind. And I'm actually waiting for it to be finished because I'm creating a Scrivener template that's based on it. I'm not going to sell it. I can't because it's not my intellectual property. But once I'm done creating the template, I am going to send it to them because I don't need to make money from this, but I think that it would just be very helpful for them to have like a template in place that people can just open up in their Scrivener software and just like build their horror screenplay right on top of that template. So maybe they can offer it as like a bonus or something, or maybe they just won't care that I'll send it to them. I mean, whatever, I'll do what I can. But I wanted it to get to people because I want people to learn from the class the same way I did. But I can't actually send it to people because it's not my property to send. So we'll see what Screenwriting U says about that after we're done with the class and they see my template. Hopefully, like, if you're interested in that kind of thing, you will sign up for that class because that class is freaking amazing. I mean, they look at horror films and horror screenwriting in a way that I had never even dreamed of before. And you will write a kick-ass script at the end of this. So just keep that in the front of your mind. Screenwriting U, it's called Writing Terrifying Scripts or something like that. Google it. You'll find it, trust me. And sign up for it because it was like $100. And I think, honestly, I think they should charge like at least $500 for this course. I mean, that's how I feel, but that's how good it is. And so based on that course and on the template that I'm putting together, I'm gonna basically try to finish an outline, if I can. It's a little ambitious, for 2 horror concepts that I have. Just the outline, not the actual script itself. I just want the foundation there so I can just write the script in bursts and a little bit at a time, but I want that outline finished. And then finally, I'm actually putting together a course on writing TV series. And people are looking at me like, well, how do you know? You're not a TV writer. Yes, that is true. But I do study a lot of television and a lot of pilots. And I have a really great template that I think people could really use. So before I send it out to anybody, I like to test things myself. So it's basically going to teach you, the template and the course that I'm putting together is going to teach you how to write an entire TV series from episode 1, which is the pilot, all the way to the season finale. And it's based on a 13 episode structure. And the thing is, the reason why I put it together is because eventually it'd be great to turn the Books of Ezekiel into a television series. And I'm just trying to figure out how to do that. So I did a lot of studying of 13 episode TV shows, like mostly actually Marvel concepts. And I'm starting to realize that they have a very particular formula that they stick to, that I'm really trying to figure out and crack. And I'm not sure if it's their formula or if it's the Netflix formula. Like, for example, in episode 8, every single time, that's when everything goes to hell. You have the all is lost moment. The character seems defeated, like he can't ever, he can't ever rise to the villain's like strength or power. He pretty much is near death. And then the next couple of episodes is him doubting himself, in hiding, trying to figure out if there's a way for him to move on, or, is this really what he wants to do? Like, there is a formula, guys, and I'm cracking it. So so far I've studied Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil. I'm looking at House of Cards, although I think that might be a little bit longer than 13 episodes. But I'm really trying to stick to the 13 episode structure and really figure out how to crack that structure, because I think that a 13 episode series in my opinion, is pretty much perfect. I've seen other series do 22 episodes really well. Scandal does that pretty well, or they used to. I'm not really sure where that's going because I haven't watched this season yet. How to Get Away with Murder, I think, does that really well. Although I'm not sure. Do they have a do they have a 22 episode season? I have to double check on that. Hold that thought. Let's put a pin in that. The Blacklist does the 22 episode structure. I think they have 23 actually, amazingly. The Blacklist is one of my favorite series that's out right now. So I do a lot of studying of television, and I'm trying to figure out how to crack that. So anyway, having said all of that, I'm building that course and that template, but I'm also basically creating the Books of Ezekiel TV series. Because the thing is like, I don't know if my stuff will ever get picked up by a network. So I have to find a way to like raise the money and make the shit myself. And that's just what I'm about as like an indie filmmaker, just getting the money, getting the training, getting the best and brightest around me that I can afford, and just like kicking ass with that, you know, because you can do a lot of really awesome, amazing stuff as an independent filmmaker and producer. And I'm not going to wait for anybody to discover, you know, my story or my greatness or whatever. Like, I have to manifest my own shit in this world. And you do too. You should too. That's the only way you're really going to make it, is to first believe in yourself and put everything you have into what you're doing. And then you'll make it. And sometimes making it doesn't mean getting recognized on an industry level, but having that amazing piece of work behind you and under your belt, that's priceless, honestly. And I think I read somewhere, I forget what book it was, there was this guy basically saying that, like, yeah, your chances of being picked up by a network or a studio or Netflix or Hulu might not be that great necessarily. But remember why you're here. You're here because you love film and you love television, and you want to make it. So isn't the end point just to make film and television? You know, like, and I agree. Like, I don't have to be the next Joss Whedon, but I can be the next Shonda Rhimes, both of whom I love, or the next J.J. Abrams, who I love as well. I don't have to be them, but I do have to be the best version of Kobe R. Rice, and that's what I'm going to be. So yeah, working on a lot of stuff just in general, but also for this winter break. I have all day, pretty much every day. My baby's in daycare and I'm off. So I get to work on this now full time, at least until next semester starts. And that's pretty amazing. And I'm pretty blessed and I'm really happy. So that is my creative update. I don't think there's anything else to report, except the fact that I'm trying to finish a few books by the end of the year, creative inspiration books and stuff like that. And I'm also starting to pick up programming and game design again, because I have so much on my plate. That's something that has to come like literally one teensy grain at a time, because I just won't be able to do it otherwise. But as you guys know, the Rebel Ragdoll Fempire in Progress not only includes novel writing and publishing, script writing and filmmaking, but it also includes game design and game production for 3D console games. And so I'm just trying to get trained in all of those areas so I can just build it up little by little, property by property. And that's my goal. So we'll see. And then I'm taking some classes as well, which I highly recommend. You guys actually might want to take a screenshot of this, because I'm going to actually put them up for you and kind of point out like the really awesome classes that I have found. A lot of them are free. Some of them are not. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. Master classes and signature courses. Okay. So like I said, a lot of these are free, or they're like, let's say like demo classes where you take like the first level or so free, and then you pay for the rest of them, the rest of the modules. But yeah, look, these are just a list of the classes that I want to take, that I actually have already paid for, or on my desktop or whatever. I don't steal classes, y'all. A lot of these are free, or again, they're the demo version, or I actually paid for them. But see, there's courses for if you want to build an indie author career, courses for creative business, entrepreneurship, and marketing, especially if you're trying to like improve your pitching and your social networking skills, or whatever, like tons of awesome stuff. Basically, look, film business planning here, film festival secrets, pitching essentials, which I highly recommend. I don't think Stephanie Palmer is offering this anymore, but she is offering, I believe, how to be a professional writer. And I mean screenwriter. Like, she's been an exec in Hollywood, or she was for a very long time. And she's been in like literally thousands of pitches, and she knows what works and what doesn't. So I have this class that I bought like a year ago that I still haven't gotten to because I have all these other classes, but I'll probably get to that sometime in 2017. Courses for novel writing, or even personal improvement. Look at that, 30 steps to a better you challenge. That's awesome. Courses for screenwriting, courses for filmmaking and producing, film SFX, production design, costume, makeup, courses for film editing and post-production, courses for graphic design, VFX, and CGI. Video Copilot, I highly recommend. It has the most amazing, sexiest, like VFX and CGI tutorials I have ever seen, and it's all free, and that's like insane and ridiculous. And then courses for game design, game writing, and programming. So these are all the things that I study, not only while I'm in graduate school, but also when I'm on break. And I'll just never stop learning, y'all. There's just no reason to stop. Because why? Because I'm alive, and I need, like, I need to learn. I need to grow. I need to be creative. So that's me. That's my hustle. And when I have something new, I will come back and share with you guys. But until then, stay indie, stay badass, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for sticking around. Bye.